Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Accent Training Podcast, a podcast where I guide you in American accent development. And by the time you finish today's episode, you will hear American English speakers clearer and understand how to make one essential sound to the same quality as they do. And that lesson for today is the sound A. It requires two clear movements to make A. And the trouble that a lot of people have is they only make one movement, A, A. Now, to make this sound completely and get both of those movements in a way that Americans recognize easily, start by opening your jaw and just get that sound. Now, I didn't say to go That's way too weak. If all you get is this is going to be underdeveloped. So take a good breath in. Starting strong, going weak. Let's hear it. Next, raise your jaw up and make pressure between the back of your tongue and your top teeth. Like, yee. Kind of fading off. And when we put them together, we get A. Now notice that yee is fading off. It's not getting a really strong A. If you're doing that, you're overcompensating a little bit. Just weaken it on the ending, let it fade off. Strong in the A and weak in the E. A. With the quick and fading Y glide. Those two movements are really all that you need. But I do have an exercise for you here so you can start feeling the difference between A and A. Because if you're going to develop your muscles and your brain to recognize this, you have to understand what's causing a mispronunciation and how to change it to pronounce words clearly. So repeat after me, a few minimal pairs here, getting A and A sounds. Bait. Bet. Made. Med. Rate. Ret. Gate. Get. Fate. Fet. Are you hearing the difference between those A and sounds? If you're not, then repeat this episode again, repeat that exercise once again, and listen closely while you repeat the movements as I instructed. This is the first step to developing a full A sound. Keep in mind that it's not the only step. If this episode alone helped you develop a perfect A pronunciation that you assimilate into your speech without any difficulty, then that would mean that I'm working miracles here. And you know what? I don't think I'm Jesus Christ. I don't think I'm working any miracles. And so how can you develop that sound? What's it going to take? Step one is what we've just accomplished. Your brain now recognizes that this sound exists, and your muscles are waking up to these new English speaking movements. The next step for you to develop this is going to be for you to find words in your everyday spoken English, priority words. ideally, that use an A sound. On your drive to work or in your free time, repeat those words to yourself. Just make a list on your phone. Easy as that. Make a list on your phone, in your notes, that's full of words that have the A sound. And repeat them to yourself regularly. And so that's my task for you. That's your next step if you really want to adapt this. Now that you know what to do and you recognize the movement, it's on you to apply it directly to your real life. That's how real accent training happens. Not just pretending accent training where you're just reading out tongue twisters and stuff. I mean, yeah, they can help, but it's not the way that I teach. I don't focus on things that you're not actually going to say. I try to focus everything on the direct vocabulary that you need. So for that reason, our next episode that's coming out for you is going to have exercises using the A sound. So that once you've started to adapt that habit to your highest priority words, you can start to apply it with the correct flow, and we can expand upon your use of it together. And as if that wasn't enough, in the episode coming after that one, I'm going to have a bunch of idiomatic expressions for you to adapt so that you have no trouble applying the correct sounds with the correct phrases and intonation and everything that Americans are using when they express themselves. This is going to be awesome. You're going to get really, really good at the A sound here. So make sure that you're following the Accent Training Podcast. And if you really like learning this kind of stuff, then I would appreciate if you give this episode a rating or a thumbs up or 5 stars or whatever you got to do so that more people who need to learn this can find it easily and they know that they're going to get a quality lesson when they do. Oh, and one final thing. As of this morning, I've begun training intensely for my upcoming marathon. And unfortunately, they are sold out of tickets. But that's not going to stop me. It didn't stop me last year. It's not going to stop me this year. And so one final thought I'd like to share with you is I'm going to need your help in the days to come. I'm going to need your help to hold me accountable to make sure that I continue my training and that I get my hands on a marathon ticket so I can cross the finish line in under 5 hours. That's what I'm going for this year, under 5 hours. Last year I did about 5.5 hours, and this year I'm going to keep it under 5. And you're going to hold me to it, and I'll let you know how things go. But for now, I got a class coming up in about 5 minutes, so I better get back to work. Have a good one, my friend. Hey everyone, if you want to use English just as confidently as you use your first language, then check out the free accent training guide that I'm leaving in a YouTube link in the description of this podcast episode. And I'll show you the step-by-step approach that I take all my clients through to learn the American accent without wasting a second of your time.